watching TAG TV.
Good evening and welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lepakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 11th of September. 2 terrorists killed in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Heavy rains create a flood-like situation in northern and eastern India. And dozens of Afghan forces killed in North Afghanistan. And now for all the details. Security forces gunned down 2 terrorists in an encounter in Kupwara district of India's Jammu and Kashmir province on Tuesday. The terrorists reportedly belonged to Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group.
Two terrorists were killed by security forces in an encounter in Kupwara district of India's Jammu and Kashmir province on Tuesday. The gun battle between the security forces and the militants broke out after a search operation was launched in Gulora area. The militants opened fire at the security forces, who then retaliated. Combing operations were still underway till the last reports came in. The slain terrorists reportedly belong to Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group. India accuses Pakistan of regularly training, arming and infiltrating terrorists across the border to mount attacks on the Indian soil. Pakistan denies the allegations.
Heavy rains in the past few days have caused a flood-like situation in parts of India's Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal provinces. Waterlogging as a result has affected the day-to-day life of the locals.
Heavy rains in the past few days in India have increased the water levels in the river Ganges, due to which temples on the bank of the spiritual town Varanasi are completely or at least partially submerged. The river water has also flooded banks and has entered the residential areas, causing a flood-like situation.
बड़ी समस्या हो रही है, कोई यात्री यहाँ नहीं आ पा रहा है, खाली दिन भर हम लोग बैठे ही रह रहे हैं.
Meanwhile, Siliguri city in India's West Bengal province also witnessed waterlogged streets and flooded localities after heavy rain lashed the region. Local residents in the city were seen suffering and wading through chest-deep waters.
हाँ, पूरा घर में, पूरा बस्ती में पूरा पानी ढुका हुआ है. खाना पीना बंद है, कहाँ बनाएंगे? आप तो देख ही रहे पानी किस हिसाब से है.
Annual rainfall is essential in India as rains support 2/3 of the 1.25 billion population living in rural areas who rely on farming. But excessive rainfalls cause problems like floods, landslides and waterborne diseases.
In news from Pakistan, Begum Kulsum Nawaz, wife of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, passed away at the age of 68 in London on Tuesday after a months-long battle with cancer. The 3-time former First Lady was diagnosed with early-stage lymphoma in August last year and had been in London since then undergoing treatment. Her health began deteriorating on Monday night. Over the last 30 years, she had stood by her husband and advised him on various government affairs. She is survived by her husband and 4 children. Former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Mariam are currently serving their sentences in a graft case.
Half-circle tympanum, actually such kind of tympanum, just metal.
And moving on, residents staged protest across Pakistan administered Kashmir on Monday over massive reduction in waters of Neelam River. They blamed that Pakistan has been diverting the waters from the river, depriving the public in the illegally occupied region of their most basic right.
Massive protests were held by locals across Pakistan-administered Kashmir on Monday, demanding an end to the exploitation of natural resources by Islamabad. In Muzaffarabad, the residents hit the streets to demand Pakistan to stop diverting the waters of the Neelam River to Punjab province. They blame Pakistan has been diverting the people of Muzaffarabad from their water lifeline, the Neelam River, through an elaborate scheme which has changed the flow of the fresh water from the mountains to Punjab province and in the process drying up the river even in the middle of the monsoon season.
इससे माहौलियात में बहुत बुरा असर पड़ेगा माहौलियात पे और दरिया सूख जाएगा। लोग जो दरियाओं पर जाते थे सैर के लिए तफरीह के लिए शाम को अपना वक्त गुजारने के लिए वो सब बर्बाद हो जाएगा। हम इसलिए रावलपिंडी से यहाँ आए हैं कि खुदा रहा इस मसले को सुलझाएं। बेहिस्सी है और क्या करें।
The Neelam water passing through Muzaffarabad now appears as a storm water drain filled with sewage water after the construction of Neelam Jhelum hydropower project. Residents blame Islamabad has consistently maintained its oppressive attitude towards the people of the region and has even ignored their basic demands. A part of the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir province of India, Pakistan-administered Kashmir was annexed by Pakistan illegally more than 6 decades ago.
And news just in, more than 30 persons were killed and several wounded in a terror attack in Afghanistan's Nangarhar province on Tuesday afternoon. The incident happened after a suicide bomber targeted a protest demanding the dismissal of a local police chief in the area. No terror group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, but both Taliban and the Islamic State are active in the province. And meanwhile, Afghan security forces have suffered a heavy casualty toll as fresh waves of violence gripped several regions in northern Afghanistan, local officials said on Monday. The clashes between Taliban and the security forces started late last week.
Afghan security forces have suffered a heavy casualty toll as fresh waves of violence grip several regions in Sar-e-Pul, Kunduz, Jozjan and Samagan provinces, local officials said. Local officials in northern Jozjan's province confirmed that the center of Kham Ab district has fallen to the Taliban after the group stormed it on Monday morning.
نیروهای امنیتی و دفاعی مستقر در سرپل شهید شده و همچنین 3 تن زخم برداشته.
The clashes between security forces and the Taliban started on Sunday night after the terror group attacked the northern regions of the country. The soldiers who were wounded in the battles have said that the lack of reinforcements was one of the key factors of the high casualty toll.
Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan authorities deployed nearly 300 Coast Guards and Navy personnel on Monday to clean oil slicks on a coastal stretch near its capital Colombo city following a pipeline leak. The oil spill was reportedly spread along a mile-long stretch of the coastline.
Hundreds of Coast Guards and Navy personnel were deployed on Monday to clean oil slicks after a pipeline leaked to the north of Sri Lanka's capital Colombo. The incident happened on Sunday when 25 to 30 tons of furnace oil used by electricity companies leaked from a pipeline running from a ship to a shore storage complex. The oil spill was spread along a mile-long stretch of coastline.
අද හවස් වෙනකොට එහෙම නැත්නම් හෙට දවස් ඇතුළත සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මෙම මුහුදු තීරය පිරිසිදු කරලා අවසන් කරන්න හැකි වෙයි කියලා.
The authorities are investigating the causes that lead to the oil leak. Officials from a state-owned petroleum company also informed that plans to replace the over 50-year-old pipeline were in the process of being finalized.
In news from Nepal, Nepal's senior-most justice Om Prakash Mishra has been appointed the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. President Bidya Devi Bhandari on Monday administered the oath of office to Mishra hours after the Parliamentary Hearing Committee unanimously endorsed his name for the position. Later in the day, he assumed office as the 28th Chief Justice. The Constitutional Council had earlier recommended him for the position on August 23rd this year. Mishra has been at the helm of the Apex Court since August 5 as the acting Chief Justice after the PHC rejected the nomination of Senior Justice Deepak Raj Joshi to head the court. Wushu, a sport developed from ancient Chinese Kung Fu martial arts, is fast gaining popularity among the youth in India's Jammu and Kashmir province. Authorities have arranged for professional coaches to train the budding players in the full contact sport.
After two local players, Naved Farooq and Mohammad Salim Kumar, won medals in the Junior World Wushu Championship held in Brazil earlier this year, Wushu, a sport developed from ancient Chinese Kung Fu martial arts, is gaining popularity among the youth in India's Jammu and Kashmir. In Wushu, players not only fight like any other martial art, but also indulge in wrestling. Manager of Indoor Wushu Stadium, Mushtaq Zargar, said the children were showing interest towards the sports and more were joining to train and learn the sport with each passing day.
वुशु जो है ये ग्रो हो रही है कश्मीर में, जैसे फुटबॉल, हॉकी सब ग्रो हो रहा है कश्मीर में, तो वो वुशु भी ऐसे बहुत चल रहा है वुशु में, ये कश्मीर में बढ़ रहा है वुशु। तो हमारे जो अभी नवीद है ये हमारे साथ ही प्रैक्टिस करते थे, तो ये अभी जब इंटरनेशनल खेल के आए तो बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है।
बच्चे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्पोर्ट्स खेल और आ रहे हैं और हम भी उनको फैसिलिटीज़ दे रहे हैं। इंडोर स्टेडियम में बच्चे आ रहे हैं, जहाँ पे 500-400 बच्चे आते थे, आज की डेट में वहीं 2-2.5 हज़ार बच्चे हमारे पास यहाँ पे आते हैं और डिफरेंट स्पोर्ट्स में अलग-अलग हमने उनको बिजी रखा हुआ है।
Professional Wushu coaches have been brought in to train the budding players who come from every nook and corner of Kashmir. Pertinent to mention, Wushu is a hard and complete martial art as well as full contact sport. It has a long history in reference to Chinese martial arts. In the recently concluded Asian Games 2018, India won 4 medals in Wushu.
Scores of people gathered in India's western Nagpur city to celebrate the ancient Kali Marbat festival, in which they took out a procession carrying effigies that represent evil forces. People danced to the beats of drums during the procession and later burnt the effigies as per their tradition.
Thousands of people thronged the streets of India's orange city Nagpur on Monday to celebrate centuries-old Kali Marbat festival. During the celebrations, the devotees took out a procession of clay effigies of Kali and Pivli, which are meant to represent evil forces. The two effigies are used as symbols to express repressed anger of the common people against the government decisions and wrong policies. People danced to the beats of the drums during the procession and later burned the effigies as per their traditional rituals.
पीली मारबत, काली मारबत जो रहती है उनको मतलब मन्नत पूरी करने के लिए लोग इन्हें पूजा करते हैं। वैसे तो इसका एक हिस्टोरिकल भाग भी है जो अंग्रेजों से रिलेटेड भी है।
The Kali Marbat festival has become an annual feature in India's Nagpur city, which is celebrated to protect it from evil spirits. A number of mascots representing contemporary symbols of evil also comprise another feature of the annual processions.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 2 terrorists killed in encounter in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Heavy rains create flood-like situation in northern and eastern India. And dozens of Afghan forces killed in North Afghanistan. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.